welcome to the latest episode of KapVista Klips. Today we are with Igor and Andrew from Arctic 7. How are you?
Good. Excellent.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thanks for jumping on. I'm interested to get into what you're doing and what the opportunity is and get into who you are. So, um, you know, let's dive into it. You are a global team. I mean, I spoke to one of your partners in London late last night, and you're in the US and you're around Europe. So give us an overview of who you are, where you're from, and what your backgrounds are.
Sure. Yeah, I can start off. I mean, you're absolutely right. We are a global team. We have operations in London. We have operations in Montenegro in the EU. Um, we I'm personally based in Austin, Texas. We have people in LA, Oregon, all over, and Igor is out in the Bay Area. So, but what we are really is a global next generation media production studio, really, and it's really centered on 3D asset and digital content creation. And that's actually a good way to talk about my background because I actually come from I started off as an engineer and engineer on the gaming side, worked on some pretty big franchises. Worked on several of the Star Wars games, worked on several of the Rockstar games, including Red Dead Redemption, Bioshock Infinite, and then was gradually leading bigger and bigger studios and cross studio teams with Gameloft and Natural Motion in the mobile space. And it was through that I really, during the early days of VR, got an opportunity to really work on a VR immersive VR experience for Jurassic World. And this was with Robert Stromberg, who was the production designer on Avatar and the director of Maleficent. So big Hollywood guy. Wanted me to help him out build a really cool VR Jurassic World experience. And so flew out to LA, really built up a team, brought some top tier gaming talent to this. And for me, it was like I'm a kid who grew up in the '90s, so like Jurassic Park was huge. I was also a big nerd and really interested in dinosaurs to begin with, so this was a dream come true to be creating something where you can go face to face with a T-Rex and have the breath of the T-Rex like steam up a window in front of you. It was amazing. But the game team I brought to it was so excited about it as well. But we were really trying to build like this narrative experience that was really leaning into the film side. And so there were film directors, there were film producers, and I noticed that these teams were just like talking past each other, and there wasn't really the connection. And I realized that if there was like a way to get these teams to work together, you'd really that's a force of nature. That's gonna transform how we do basically media production. And it was through that basically we built up Happy Mushroom and Narwhal Studios, which pioneered virtual production, which was really just bringing a lot of the video game technologies, tools, teams to the film production process. We worked on The Mandalorian, we worked on Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. Most very recently we did Avatar: The Last Airbender for Netflix. And what we really specialized in was just bringing a lot of the same tools and technologies that we were doing before and bringing into film production space. And we've seen the power of that, a lot of power of it to create just better experiences, but also to build things quicker, faster, and cheaper. And then back in 2021, started talking with Igor, and we really saw the same vision here of, well, what we really should be doing is bringing this all together. There's going to be an unending demand for this digital content. It's growing at a hugely rapid pace, and there's a convergence of the tools, tech, and people to create this. So there's an opportunity right now to become this next generation media company, and that's really what Arctic 7 is about. It's about doing that. And I don't know, Igor, if you have anything to add to that.
No, no, awesome. I mean, yeah, you described it just perfectly, right? So I can, talk a little bit about myself. So I started my career as Andrew in the video game industry. I was fortunate enough to join Electronic Arts, and I spent there more than 10 years working on different games with the different teams, and it was amazing time of my career that helped me to basically to understand what it takes a village to make a game, right? And where I was fortunate enough to meet Alan and Mark, who was founders of the Arctic Seven, and then after that I left EA and co-founded a company called Sperasoft, and we quickly grew it to become one of the largest independent game development, co-development companies in the world. And in late 2017, we've been acquired by Keywords, which at that time really started, focusing on very aggressive roll-up strategy. They were listed in London Stock Exchange, on the London Stock Exchange. And then shortly after the acquisition, I became chief commercial officer for Keywords, and basically responsible for all studios and service lines, operations, and the service delivery and revenue, of course, and worked there for 3 years, and helped to contribute to growing company revenue, almost doubling from 200 million to almost $500 million. By the way, Keywords recently, earlier this year, was acquired for more than $2 billion by private equity, and we started Arctic Seven, and that's where I was fortunate to meet with Andrew and the normal team, and we immediately found so many synergies, like Andrew mentioned. Like we see really lines between games and the film and TV are blurring, right? It's intersection of technology. It's the same people and skills that working on games now can work on the film and TV, and really we see the, as Andrew mentioned, like the transmedia opportunity, right? That opening for the game development companies, because they used to operate only in the gaming space, but now with the latest success of Fallout TV series, that's based on a Bethesda video game, or Witcher, Netflix, or HBO, successful execution of Last of Us, very famous game, right? So they really, it basically we're moving into transmedia storytelling, right, which allows each medium to do what they do best. And we can see, based on the Marvel comics, right, they successfully, executing not only through the millions of comics, but also I think over 30 movies, right, then I need like over 10 or 12 video games and so many TV series. So we basically, video game industry just discovering this, and I think what in the next we truly believe that the next few years is going to be just booming, right? Just the fact that Fallout TV series success, I believe right now, and they correct me if I'm wrong, more than 60 movies or TV series based on the games right now in active development. So that's basically that kind of like snapshot. It's not elevator pitch of Arctic Seven, but but we already probably reached 35th floor or 50th, but I lost a little bit of time.
Yeah. So you have a long and illustrious. Well, you both and the whole team have a long and illustrious career in the video game space, and as TV and movie studios move into there's more of a demand into what you're doing. So whereas once it could be just video games, now there's a whole host of things that come out of it. It's not just video games. It is TV, movie experiences, interactive storytelling, and that's the way that we consume content has changed rapidly over the last, say, 10 years, right? And there's more and more demand on more interaction, more graphics. You want to feel like you're in there, and it's getting cleaner. And if I was looking at a video the other day on FIFA, which is now FC 24, 25. And the reason why, because FIFA didn't want to pay. EA didn't want to pay
Yeah,
for
right.
license. They were showing the evolution of what it looked like, and it is getting realistic, and the
Yeah.
demand, people want that. So the space that you're in is just rapidly evolving. Right, there's going to be more and more focuses. There's going to be more and more studios that are coming up, because the demand for what you do is not going anywhere. It's getting bigger and bigger. The cliche is we're at the tip of the iceberg. I really think we're at the tip of the iceberg, because it is getting. I mean, even the car games, the driving games, the sports games. And then
Mhm.
there's movies that are coming out on the back of video games.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Yeah. The beauty of this is that not only is there just more demand for it, but as you point out, the bar is so high right now.
yeah,
Everybody just wants things to. Everyone has such a high bar of expectation for what their content is going to look like and play like.
yeah.
And one of the beauties of what we do is that honestly, we've actually done this with several of our own assets and our own games. Is that we've taken these and we've taken those assets and we've moved them to a virtual stage near here in Austin and shot a teaser trailer for a potential TV series on with those assets. Literally, we've got all this work going into it, and we're basically cutting out a lot of the VFX work that you would have to do to get to that same bar.
Mm,
Now, what this does is it frees up a lot of time to focus on the stuff that matters, on engaging your customer base, and
yeah.
especially those fans of these IPs, of these series. They just want more ways to engage with the IP they love, and they kind of expect it now, right? They want to have the TV series, the movie, the game, the comic books, and when you've got this ability to actually co-develop these, it really allows you to engage those people a lot better.
Yeah, and the ability, I mean, to have it all in your phone. There's
Uh-huh.
where
Well,
it's bad that we're addicted to screens, but the ability to get that content in the palm of your hands, to billions of people across the globe is just incredible. So Arctic Seven was founded with a common goal in mind. Um, what are some of the milestones that you have achieved? Because it's pretty impressive. Millions in revenue. You've worked on some of the biggest games and movies, and TV shows that everybody knows, like household names. Walk me through that.
Andrew, you want to take a step with it?
yeah, I've got some of this. So we've done, yeah, we've only been around for a short time, but we've done over 19 million in revenue so far. And the game, when you're talking about the IPs that we've worked on, yeah, it's all the big names. Our teams have worked on Assassin's Creed franchise, the um, Splinter Cell. I actually rattled off a few of them already, so I'm just it's basically the Star Wars franchise, both
Yeah,
the game and the film and TV side. The Yeah, and several of our founding members, were integral in the Gears of War franchise. So these are all things that everybody's very familiar with.
mm,
Um, and right now, and right now we're still involved in several movies I can't actually talk about that are probably going to be these household names. Most recently, we did work on Megalopolis, and also on I think I mentioned the Avatar: The Last Airbender
yeah,
series.
yeah.
Um, and so but as far as path forward, I think Igor, do you want to speak on that
Yeah,
part?
absolutely. Yeah. So given our previous experience, working in the companies who specialize in the consolidation, so we really would like to take this approach and basically continue growing in the games, and the film and TV by very aggressive acquisitions. So right now we have a very active pipeline at which we continue building, and right now we have four companies with total revenue ranging anywhere between $30 to $35 million with a good EBITDA,
Mm.
good historical track record. And they located all over the world, but we really would like to focus on a low cost location to, like as Andrew mentioned, right, to create more ROI. So two companies, I believe three companies based in Eastern Europe, and then one company based in South America.
Yeah, yeah. So, I mean, we're here to discuss, your capital raise because you are raising capital, and it's for a mixture of growth but also acquisition. And you've got a healthy pipeline of, at conservative figures, a pipeline of $18 million to $20 million worth of deals to acquire. That increases your revenue, but you're also putting money into growth of Arctic Seven as well. So, you know. Arctic Seven has got long term contracts with some big name production companies. Right, you're
Yeah,
working on.
we wish we can mention this, but
Yeah,
yeah.
No.
yeah, yeah. So it's not a high risk startup, is what I'm saying. You've gone through, you've proven it, you've built it, you've got the assets, you've got the talent, you've identified companies that you want to acquire to grow through acquire, but also grow through your existing path. So there's a long story, and in this space, there's multiple examples. I mean, you mentioned one that was acquired for $2 billion in this space. So the bigger players, once you get to a certain size, will then you get on their radar, and there's the opportunity to be acquired in a few years' time after you've rolled up a number of
Exactly, yeah, and we really would like to use this roll-up strategy not only in the games, as I mentioned, but in the film and TV, which will be quite unique and like never done before. Like there is a individual in sectors consolidations happening, like as in games, right, or film and TV. Like for example, in film and TV, the latest acquisition of MGM by Amazon, right? There is a the Disney Fox deal and Warner Brothers Discovery, right? But the same thing, happening on a different scales in the games. But we really would like to, since we see that it's intersection with technology, right? So we want to grow in both sectors, quite aggressively. And the sky is the limit here, right? So you're absolutely
it
right.
is.
Organic
It
growth
is.
and supported by very strong acquisition. And also another opportunity here interesting is that last 2 years it was both exciting but somewhat challenging for both film, TV, and games. Like the it's actor strike and writer strike, right? So basically, we want to use opportunity of low valuations right now in the current market, right? Because that's gonna the economy gonna pick up, right? And then every single sector will start exponential growth, and it put us in a position that in 2 3 years, 2 3 years very rapidly grow, and then basically decide what next for us.
Yeah, yeah. So tell us, how much are you raising?
We're raising right now up to $8 million, and because we really like out of those four companies that I mentioned, two of companies in a pre-LOI position, right? We almost done with negotiation. We actually have a very good long-term relationship with them. So majority of data are vetted. We kind of like went almost like halfway through the due diligence process, right? Even kind of like a little bit backwards, right? But because of the very good
Yeah,
partner relationship, and of course we are under non-disclosure, right? So they were able to submit and disclose with us a lot of financial information. So we feel, very strong and passionate about this, and that's the reason, to try to basically sign LOI before the end of the year, and then basically execute on them Q1 of next year.
yeah, yeah. That's exciting because you're not you're acquiring businesses that have strong revenues, strong pipelines, and bring it all under house. So
Exactly.
raising $8 million in a company that's making millions of dollars already to acquire other companies that are making millions of dollars. It's a de-risk strategy.
Exactly. Yeah, and then of course, the existing synergy and continue developing synergy with those studios, and
Yeah,
see how else we can help to grow them, right? Because growing business it's not easy task, right? So sometimes founders hitting some threshold, whether it's a comfort level or whether they basically looking at the significant investment to the business, right? And some people doesn't know or doesn't want to deal with this, so we're here to help, right? We
yeah,
basically picking up a lot of things that we have a very experienced team and pedigree team with a good track record. Like you mentioned, you spoke with John Dawes, right?
yeah,
Has
yeah, yeah.
incredible pedigree and career in business development publishing.
Okay, I'm not going to take up too much more of your time. I am interested in this space. I mean, the gaming space itself is headed for incredible growth. You see esports as a category is just it's about to explode. So the demand for games, we're not taking into TV or film. The demand for games is it's just going to be huge. And then if we add TV and film, the demand for content by consumers who, there's things on the planet that the demand is there. I mean, these big companies like Amazon and Netflix are putting more and more money into TV and film production. It's an industry that's not going away anytime soon. It's getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And by all reports, by all economists and financial institutions, are saying this is an industry that's going to be huge. So I think that the play that you're looking at to acquire businesses and grow not just in your own contracts and growth strategies, but to grow via acquisition, I think is a the as de-risked as possible, as you can do. So, thank you very much for jumping on. Anybody who's watching this episode who wants to find out more about Arctic Seven, some of the projects they're working on, some of the deals that they're looking at, please reach out to my team, and we'd be happy to make an introduction to the guys. And you've heard from Igor and Andrew, but the other team members are just as impressive. So it's worthwhile chatting to them. But thank you very much, guys. It's great to chat, and I look forward to finding out more.
Thanks, Daniel.
Right.